Hello friends, welcome to the lecture on symbolic references. This is the part 2 of the reference lecture. Today we are going to see how we can create symbolic reference, what exactly a symbolic reference in Perl means, and is it really good to use symbolic references or hard references. So let's get started. I'm declaring a variable, let's say $var, which is equal to 100. Now I have another variable, that is $x, which is having a value that is var. Now what I'll do is I'll simply go ahead and print result as $$ of x. And what we'll do is we'll go ahead, execute this particular program and see what has happened here. So if we see, we are getting result as 100, but what we printed was $x, but this $x has another $sign here. So what it has done is it has dereferenced this particular value of $x. So $x value was var, so it created another variable at runtime, that is $var, as it was defined previously in this particular program. We have got 100. So this is what basically a symbolic reference is. You can have multiple such chains. You can then create the variables on fly depending on your requirement. Ideally, or probably, I would suggest you should not use this particular concept, as this is really dangerous. It can induce errors which you will really not come to know, and it would really require a lot of groundwork to understand like from where this particular issue is coming, in case you end up getting into such kind of dereferencing of variables. So make sure, ideally, this particular concept is not really very useful in terms of creating references. Hard references, as we had seen in our previous chapter, looks more prominent, more promising, and that can be used as and when required. Moreover, in the case of symbolic reference, you clear, the point to be remembered here is you cannot use it when you declare your variables as my. So if I go ahead and declare these variables as my, and if I try to execute the program, what I'll see is the output remains blank. The reason is it does not dereferences, or it does not work on variables when they are defined using my. The other part is, in case you want to avoid this particular uh, using of symbolic references in your program, you simply say use strict and say reps. So use strict reps if this particular statement is defined, and if we go ahead and execute the program, it says we cannot use the symbolic reference as strict ref is defined. So this is one way of actually not allowing symbolic references, any symbolic references in your program. Okay, there is one more thing. Let's say I have a scalar variable that is %position. Okay, and I have another hash reference with the same name. Okay, and inside this same name, what I'm doing is I'm passing a key. So let's say my key is 1, and I am assigning a value to this particular reference, let's say 4. So this particular hash ref has a value, has a key of 1 and a value of 4. Now what happens is I'll simply go ahead and print this particular hash. So let me use the dumper. This will actually help us in understanding what has happened here. Okay, so now if I go ahead and print, let's say using the dumper, and that is %position. So do see carefully what exactly the output we are getting in this particular case. So the output is nil. But if I am actually printing the symbolic reference of the particular hash, I'm getting the same output. So now what has happened here? I have defined a %position. Okay, so this itself is a hash. Now, because I have used the arrow sign or I have dereferenced the dollar position, so this becomes my hash ref. So this and this are mutually exclusive. I have added an element to the hash ref, and hence this particular output is what we have received. So this is one more, probably this you can see as a one more way of looking at the symbolic references. So make sure you don't end up in such situations, because these are quite precarious situations, and uh, it is really difficult in case you end up getting into an error when you have defined such kind of programs. So symbolic references are not the ideal way of going ahead. Make sure you always use hard references. Those are possibly the best way of playing around with references in Perl. With this, we come to the end of our chapter on references, that is on symbolic references. I'll see you at the next lecture. Thank you.